If you've been shopping for a portable power station lately, you're probably already familiar with the Bluetti AC180 that launched earlier this year. Well, this is the new AC180P. The P stands for perfected. No, I made that up. I have no idea what the P stands for. Before we jump right into this, full disclosure, Bluetti did send me this unit to review, and they agreed that I am free to give you my honest opinions. So here we go. So what's the difference between the new P version and the regular AC180, you ask? That's a great question, and there is one critical difference. The new AC180P is orange. The real difference is that the new AC180P here has 1,440 watt hours of capacity.
Shut up and take my money.
That's 288 watt hours more than the original AC180, a 25% increase in battery capacity in the same exact form factor. What? And no, Bluetti did not switch to NMC to achieve that in the same size here. It's still LFP, which means you still get 3,500 plus life cycles before the capacity drops to 80%. If you don't know what any of that means, that's okay, because I don't either. Bear's gonna educate us.
Simply put, battery life cycle is the number of charge and discharge cycles that a cell can complete before losing performance.
Dang, Bear, how'd you get so smart?
I eat a lot of fish, dude.
So those are the only real differences between the AC180 and the new AC180P. The orange color and a pretty big increase in battery capacity. If you already have the AC180, should you upgrade? Probably not, unless you need that extra capacity or you suffer from cyanophobia.
Cyanophobia is the fear of the color blue.
Thanks, Bear. But if you've been shopping for a highly portable and capable power station, keep watching, because this is it. So first, let's talk about the overall dimensions and weight of the AC180P. And keep in mind, this is the same exact size unit as the original AC180. And I'm gonna cheat here because there's no way I'm gonna remember all these numbers. It is 13.39 inches wide, 12.49 inches tall, and 9.72 inches deep. Pretty compact unit, and it only weighs 35.27 pounds. So really, really portable. Compare that with the Bluetti AC200 Max that I've been using for like a year and a half now, which is substantially larger, as you can see, weighs a whopping 62 pounds and has a capacity of 2,048 watt hours. You can see just how impressive the capacity of the AC180P really is in its form factor. Yes, the AC200 Max does have a lot more features, but when you add the fact that it needs this ginormous brick for AC charging and the AC180P doesn't need that, well, what Bluetti has fit into this AC180P is pretty amazing. Let's take a look at its outputs. It has 4 AC outlets rated at 15 amps, 120 volts, or 8.2 amps at 220 volts, and are fed by an 1,800 watt pure sine wave inverter that can handle surges up to 2,700 watts. It also has several DC outputs, including a standard 10 amp cigarette lighter adapter, a 100 watt USB-C port, and 4 USB-A ports. It also has a wireless charging pad on the top. So 11 outputs in total. Now let's take a look at the inputs. AC charging has 3 settings: turbo, standard, and silent. Turbo will get your AC180P from 0 to 80% in a mere 45 minutes. Why the other 2 modes? Well, turbo should only really be used in emergencies because it does negatively impact the lifetime of the cells. So use standard mode when you can, or even silent mode when you have ample time like overnight charging to preserve the lifetime of the battery cells. Of course, you can also charge the unit with solar. It'll accept up to 500 watts of solar input, and they include this nice handy dandy solar power cable for you. And you can also charge the unit with your vehicle's cigarette lighter adapter. They also include that cord, and both of these just plug in right at the top here. As a side note, just don't exceed 60 volts, 10 amps for the DC input. Lastly, you can use a gas generator to recharge the unit in a pinch. How about mobile connectivity? Yes, there's an app for that. The Bluetti app lets you monitor all of your Bluetti devices. Let's go to the AC180P. Here you can check the current battery capacity, inputs, any outputs that it's doing right now. I don't have anything plugged in currently. Turn the DC inputs on and off, turn the AC inputs on and off. And you can change some settings, like the charging mode that we looked at earlier. Powerlifting mode, which gets you up to 2,700 watts of surge power on the inverter. and the eco setting for the AC and DC outputs, which just automatically turns those outputs off after a certain amount of time if there's no power draw. An auto sleep function for the screen, and then firmware updates. Also have some other settings like AC output frequency and grid self-adaption. Lastly, you can turn the entire unit off through the app. However, you do have to manually switch the unit back on when you need to use it again. The AC180P can also be used as a UPS. No, not as in the brown truck. Uninterruptible power supply, like for a desktop computer. So, what can this thing power? Well, it'll power this microwave. And it'll power this dirty toaster oven. Yeah, I know I need to clean it. Stop dirty appliance shaming me. It turns my big corded vacuum into a cordless vacuum. Kinda. It'll power this space heater. And it powers my all-important rice cooker.
I even washed the rice first. Uncle Roger would be so proud. For you.
Now that we've gone over what it can do, what makes this a really, really good, nearly perfect portable power station for off-grid adventuring? It's got more than enough capacity for most people based on my own anecdotal typical usage, which is powering a 52-liter fridge, recharging all my devices like cell phones, a Garmin InReach Mini, headlamps, flashlights, all my YouTubing stuff like action cameras, microphones, and powering various LED camp lighting. I would use roughly 20 to 25% of the overall capacity of the AC180P per day on average, and that's assuming I'm not recharging with solar or the cigarette lighter adapter. If you've got a big fifth wheel or an RV and you run a lot of appliances, this may not be the right unit for you. But if you're just doing some car camping for a few days, 1,440 watt hours should be plenty. I really like the size and weight of the AC180P. It's legit portable. Unlike that AC200 Max that I have, this is a heck of a lot easier to move around. There really isn't anything that I dislike about the AC180P, but for my personal use, there's one feature that I would have liked to see. And this is totally nitpicking, and this is a very, very specific use case. I personally would love a high current DC output on this unit, like on my AC200 Max that has a 30 amp DC output. And if you're curious why, watch that video up there. But for the vast majority of you folks out there who've been searching for a capable and truly portable power station for off-grid adventures, this is it, folks. If you think the AC180P is the right power station for you, I put a link down below in the description. It is an affiliate link, so I do appreciate you using that if you end up buying one. And even if you're not interested, I just appreciate that you're watching. As always, remember that destinations don't matter, the journey matters. Until next time, this is Roger wishing happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then.